Hi, my name is Madison and I'm going to teach you how to make tie blankets. So the fabric that you need is 100% polyester anti-pill fleece. And you need to ask for 1.5 yard cuts. So they'll unroll it and they'll measure to 1.5 yards and then they'll cut it. So it's a 1.5 yard by 1.5 yard square blanket. After you choose your pattern, you want a solid backing to go with it. With this blanket, you could choose a brown or a blue or a black, but you don't have to just stick with the colors that are on the blanket. You could choose any color because the more colorful, the better. I chose lime green to go with it, so it's brighter and it pops out. To start cutting your blanket, the edges have to be aligned. So first I open both blankets and I align both selvage edges to each other and then I cut. So here are the selvage edges and then just line them up and then I'm going to lay it out and then you cut off the excess so there's no overlapping because the fabrics have to be the same length for you to cut them so it can be a perfect square. And then you have to smooth it out so that there are no folds or any wrinkles underneath because that could mess up the size of the blanket at the end. This is the manufactured edge right here. This is the part that you don't want because it has words and it messes with the actual blanket. Because you want this part of the blanket to be the strips, not the wet part. And also the selvage edge of the backing is the part that curls up at the end, kind of like the one down there. See right here, this overlaps this one, so you have to make sure that they're cut to where they're not overlapping anymore and it's the same size. See here, the yellow comes out farther than the pink, so what I have to do is I have to cut to where it's still straight with the rest of this, but I have to make it to where the pink and the yellow are the same length so that the blanket turns out okay. I just eyeball my cuts, but if you want to, you can use a straight edge to make sure that your edges are straight because they don't need to be perfectly straight, but you want them to be almost or about straight. So now that my blanket has been prepped and all the edges have been cut to where they're all the same, I cut 3" by 3" squares in each corner so that I kind of have a guide for whenever I do my strips because they're also 3 inches, so I can just follow those and so that it's easier whenever I'm tying the blanket so I don't have to tie square corners. So they don't have to be perfectly 3" by 3", but it's just easier if they're about the same. Once you've cut one, now you can use it as a guide for the others so they can all be about the same length. Now cut approximately 1" by 3" strips around the entire blanket. These don't have to be perfectly straight, but it's easier if you try to make them as straight as possible. And it looks neater if you have them all to be about the same length and like same width, because then the blanket just looks better and it looks neater. Now that all the strips have been cut, you want to tie all 4 corners. You want to do your first knot loose and your second knot tight. Remember to double knot these knots. So you do your first one loose and your second one tight, because if you do the first one tight, then the blanket will bunch up. Now that all the corners have been tied, you're ready to tie the rest of your blanket. So remember to do your first knot loose and your second knot tight, and remember to double knot each one. And this is what a finished blanket looks like. So now you know how to make a tie blanket.